First off, Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, right tackle out of Utah. He's a junior at 6'6", 308 pounds, entering his third year as the starter as a true junior, spending his freshman year as the team's left tackle, actually, before switching sides as a sophomore. He's from Spanish Fork, Utah. He attended Tip View High School in Provo, where he was a four-star recruit. He was 247's seventh-ranked tackle, first-ranked player in the state, and 42nd player overall in the nation. Ben, Spencer Fano, what are your initial thoughts?
So my initial thoughts are that I love him, but I love him with an asterisk. Okay, I really, really, really like this guy. It took me all of 30 seconds to just absolutely fall in love with this guy. But I don't think he's necessary. He could work for every team, but I do think that he would bonus up on some teams versus others. So I would caution, you mentioned it before, know what your team likes and make sure that this guy is purely going to fit that and that you're not going to use him in a slightly different way. So I really love him. But just be careful with that. So here we go. I don't have as many notes on him because I just liked him so quick, but I did grab quite a few notes here. So borderline elite athleticism as a zone run blocker. That was the first thing I noticed is that when he can run block fine in a stationary spot, but the very second he moves out there, and he can move all the way out there to the boundary, he does it quick. He sets out there and he blocks out there, and then he blocks somebody else out there. I I hesitated to call it elite athleticism for a tackle, but it might be. If it's not, it's borderline.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just absolutely instantly fell in love with that. And if that's what your team needs, he will do that until the end of time for 10 or 12 years, and he will be amazing at that. All right. So that's the part I really fell in love with real fast. And again, he's fine back at normal blocking, but it's another whole level. It's an entire different world when he goes out there on that zone blocking or blocking for screens, you name it. He can get
Yep.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And the Baylor tape where he was playing left tackle, he really struggled out there. It wasn't dreadful, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't the same. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
look as good as it looked over at right tackle. So he was fine there at left tackle for Baylor against Baylor, but there he does give up ground at times. But eventually he'll hold up. It's not like he gets
Yeah.
shoved all the way back into the quarterback, and that's not even every play. I just did notice a handful of times where you can push him back if you've got a really strong defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen, but eventually he will find his ground and hold it up. If he gets beat in pass blocking, it's usually inconsistent hands and feet. So I noticed at times
Yeah.
just a little sloppy, a little inconsistent, and I'm not sure what causes that because really it honestly feels like he's got everything he needs. So now I'm wondering, does he just need more practice time there at right tackle, game time? Does he need
Mm-hmm.
to focus a little better? I'm not sure. It's not every game, it's not every quarter. But just from time to time, I notice sloppy hands, sloppy feet, and he gets beat. And I'm like, I'm not even sure why, It wasn't always against the most talented guys.
Yeah.
So I did notice that. But again, I really like this guy. I'm somewhere in the first round on him. I just don't think I'm top 10 on him.
Yeah. The idea of is a road grading, elite run blocking right tackle the guy you take first in a draft class. I mean, this happened with and it was funny this comparison, but J.C. Latham when he was the second tackle drafted
Yeah.
in 2024, 23, 24. He goes after Alt, who we knew was number one, and then I was like, okay, what's your flavor, right? Is
Mhm.
it is it Latham, who everyone kept saying was a road grader because he's big, but really he was smooth, steady pass protector, like great anchor, like a really good pass pro, but just smooth. Is it Fuaga, who's similar to Fano, where it's just like mean, just like gonna put people in the dirt, or is it Fautano, who's like quick and feisty and will put you down, but he's like a little undersized. So like, what's the flavor? And we saw the league, i.e., the Tennessee Titans, lean pass pro, right?
Yeah.
They took now listen, Fuaga was awesome, and he actually switched sides better than J.C. Latham did in New Orleans. But like the tape and the scouting coming out in the draft was Latham is the pass pro guy out of those three because of the size and smoothness and anchor. So take him. So we'll get into like where those comparisons are. But to me, Fano has the most superior superpower of these 10, 11 guys we're going to talk about in some capacity tonight, which is he is the best at one thing, and it is run blocking, and he could do it
Yep.
in any way. You
Yep.
mentioned the getting out in space, and it's funny, like there's different forms of athleticism, right? So like he might not run the fastest 40 or have the best three cone, but the balance that he has out there in space,
Yep.
combined with just enough foot speed, and then the elite tenacity, because you mentioned it, like passport, like he can get pushed back. He doesn't have the best natural anchor. He's 308 pounds. Like that's not very big. That's pretty light for a tackle
Right.
these days. You wouldn't know it by watching him. He's putting guys in underground in with his blocking the way he does it. He's so strong. He's so physical. Very good mover. And I think that like mixing up of hands and feet, because I saw that too. That's a great point. I think it's because I think you see that when it's not the true A plus foot speed specifically from an athletic standpoint. But he's so well balanced that he always finds a way to like counter that. So I actually have a few examples here. So we're gonna go through. I played these while Ben was talking. But right tackle here, you're just gonna see him. He takes blocks a guy, takes him out of the club, throws him off the screen. Again, climbs to the second level, engages the linebacker, plays past the whistle, plays through the echo of the whistle. Here at right tackle again, just second level, pushes a defensive lineman 3, 4 yards back, plays through the end, gets to the linebacker after. Here, out in space, he just seals number 13, I think, down here. Again, 2 plays in pass pro right here. I want to play that one again. Got 2 pass blocking reps here. The run blocking reps, you guys get it. He's just putting guys down as hard as he can. Here in pass pros, where Ben's talking about, he gets a little flustered, or not flustered, but his feet aren't perfect. But he's using his hands really well. He's using 2 hands together, and then he's using independent hands to keep that defender off of his chest. So while his feet aren't super in place, his anchor's not super in place, he's at least keeping the hands off of him so he can keep going. All right. And now on this rep, he stays engaged with the defender while his feet are moving smoothly. Okay. But that is a fast edge rusher who gets a good dip on him. But he's moving his feet just fast enough and staying on balance. He's just able to push him up the arc behind the quarterback. A combination of things there for Fano, specifically that superpower of just he's always going to get push. He's always going to get leverage. He's going to get under a defender when he needs to. He's going to get on top of a guy when he needs to. That ability to stay on balance and make contact out at the second and third level. That's the stuff that I talk about, Ben, when I'm talking about an offensive lineman going from a B plus to an A or an A to an A plus. Like the elite of elite guys, that's the skill that separates them. And I don't know if he's going to be that because I don't know if the pass pro is ever going to be where a Tristan Wirfs or a Trent Williams or a Joe Alt are, but he has that like superpower skill. That would be fun, actually. I'll have to go back through my notes from the summer. Which guys are so good at run blocking? They are really good in space, but maybe they're not the same pass protector guys. And then what level is that, and what's the value of that? And where would that be drafted? That sounds like a good study for me for the middle of the night. Really like Fano. He is my OT1 right now, which I'm sure you guessed just because again you mentioned it. Like I watched that. I already forget what game it was. BYU. It was last year's BYU game. So end of the year, BYU was highly ranked at that time. And like the first play, he's just taking a dude 30 yards from the play because he's refusing to stop blocking. I was like, oh great, this is my guy. I hadn't found my guy yet. I hadn't gotten to Fano until later in this round of watching guys, but this is my guy. I'm so pumped. So what I want to see this year. Actually, let me ask you this. Let me be a good host. I'm just getting excited now. What do you want to see this year? What are you looking for from Fano to maybe try to cement himself as OT1 or be that top 5 pick that you're talking about? We're not sure we have yet.
Yeah, if he could crisp up the pass blocking, then that would launch him up in the top 15, top 10 for me. I already love him, right?
Mhm.
And I think you made a great point about, it's real easy to pick the guy who's great at everything and say, well, I'll take that guy first overall. But what if nobody's great at everything and you have different skill sets? Well, I tend to like the pass protecting guy. That's not
Mhm.
necessarily him, but he's so good. You mentioned it, the superpower. He's so good at the run blocking, and he's pretty solid at the pass protection that I really like this guy up there somewhere, but it will depend on the team. If I want my offensive line to have that identity, right? So if we're building an offensive line that needs to pass protect so we can pass downfield because we got a quarterback with a big arm, I might steer away from him and go grab one of the other pass protecting guys, you know? But if we've already got a pretty solid offensive line, and I'd just like us to be a little bit better in the run game, especially with kind of the flexing out run game where we do some creative stuff, this is the guy. This is the guy I'm going to grab up as quick as I can. But I would like to see the pass protection be a little bit better.